Hey, welcome to Inspiration Station, where it's safe to exercise your soul, and together we get fit to create. I'm Karina, founder of Koi Compositions, and Inspiration Station is a resource for you to rely on anytime you're feeling drained or if your creativity pool is depleted. This is for you to use whenever you need encouragement or a reminder to believe in you. This episode is all about celebrating. It's going to be a party. So if you need to pause real quick to get yourself a milkshake, or blow up a few balloons, or put on a sweater that makes you feel good, or dress up fancy, or party in your pajamas, whatever you want to do, please do it, because celebrating is more fun when you actually prepare for the party. Okay, the first question that we're answering is, why is celebrating an essential step to creating? Because I really think that it is. The first answer I have to that is that you are your number one fan. Or should be. You can be. You can be your number one fan. You deserve to have a number one fan. And what better way to ensure that you have one than to be your number one fan? It can sound a little narcissistic, but it's not. It really is not. If you are able to be the best fan of your work, you will create your best work. If you're not going to be excited about the work that you create, then we should not expect other people to be excited about the work that we're creating. Second answer that I have for that is that our celebrations are an invitation for others to join the party. When we celebrate our wins and celebrate our work that we are doing, we are inviting others to join the party and for others to celebrate what we've done with us. If we're not celebrating what we're doing, chances are no one else will either. So be the invitation. Oprah Winfrey said, "The more you praise and celebrate your life, the more there is in life to celebrate." And I just love that paradigm. Such a cool paradigm. The more we celebrate, the more there's a reason to celebrate. We all want to be able to express and share joy and have that be reciprocated. And celebrating can be for every single step of the way. It's not just for the end product. Elise Kripe said, "Look for the small improvements, recognize those successes, and let them be a big deal." They are a big deal. Sometimes those small steps are huge because you can't get to the ending without those small steps first. I learned this principle when I started running half marathons, and I am not a runner. I am not very athletic. I am the oldest of 5 girls, and all 4 of my sisters and my parents are all very athletic people. They play volleyball, they've done track and field, they've done lacrosse. They're all very wonderful at those things, and I am not. So when one of my sisters called me and said, "Hey, Karina, guess what? I'm gonna run a half marathon." I said, "Good for you. That's awesome. I'm so proud of you. I will cheer for you every step of the way." And then she said, "And I've already talked to Mom and Dad and our other 3 sisters, and they're gonna run it too." Wow, that's great that you're all doing that. And then she added, "And we're all driving the 9 hours out of state to get to where you live because the race runs right by your house." Oh boy. So I was guilt-tripped into running this half marathon with my family. And it was a wonderful experience in the end, but at the beginning, I did not know what I was going to do. I am not good at this. I have never done this before. So many reasons to not do it. I ended up being 32 weeks pregnant when I ran the half marathon, when the race happened. So plenty of reasons to not do it. But in the end, it was a wonderful experience. At the beginning, it was so hard. I hated it. I hated running. It felt awful. And my lungs hurt and my legs hurt. And it was cold outside. So many reasons to complain. And I realized that I was not going to be able to get to the race unless I found a reason to keep running. So I got an app on my phone that tracked the distance that I was running that would loudly proclaim 1 mile completed when I would get to a mile. And I would clench my fists and throw my arms in the air and do a little skip hop jump. Yes! I ran a mile! Okay, I can do another mile. And slowly that's how I built up, by celebrating every mile. I ended up doing that through all of training and during the race. And the race was really fun. It was a haunted half. And so we all got to dress up. And I was a bubblegum machine with my big belly. It was really adorable. Throughout the entire race, I mean, it was hard. My belly was very heavy. And those celebrations, I had to just keep looking forward to when I would celebrate. And if I found myself being like, ugh, it's forever until I can celebrate now. I'm going to celebrate. I am still going. Yes, go me. Those little steps were so important to celebrate in order for me to get to the end. And even then, there was a point around mile 11 that I was ready to give up. I was not going to make it to the finish line. Didn't matter how much I tried to celebrate. I didn't have it in me anymore to celebrate. And one of my sisters and my mom both were not able to run the race because of knee injuries. And right when I was about to give up, my sister showed up next to me. Out of nowhere. I didn't see her coming. Just all of a sudden, there she was. Karina, you're doing so great. You can do it. You can keep going. And she started celebrating for me. And she would run a block with me and then walk to the car where my mom had parked it and drive the car up a few blocks while my mom would run up next to me and she would run a block. They couldn't run very much because they didn't want to increase their injury, but they kind of leapfrogged their way with me, celebrating, encouraging, cheering me on, running with me towards the end of the race. And they did this for about a mile. And then they said, we're going to go to the finish line. We'll be there. You're almost there. You can do it. Okay. Their hope inspired me to keep going. And sometimes we need this. Sometimes we can't just celebrate for ourselves. Sometimes we need that help and encouragement. If they didn't know I was running this race, they wouldn't have been there to encourage me. We need to share what we're doing with others if we want them to be there when we need them. So I kept running, and towards the end of this race, there's this really big hill. Oh man, and that doesn't even get to the finish line. They even have this tunnel that you run through, and it's super exciting, and they trick you, because then you have to go down the hill and run another 3/4 of a mile to the finish line. But I was running up this hill, and I was the last person in my family to finish this race. And as I'm running up this hill, my entire family all of a sudden was next to me. My dad and my 3 other sisters who had finished the race already, and my mom and sister who weren't able to run, were just there. And they were cheering me on, and we're so proud of you, and you're doing so great, and look, we can see the finish line from here. You're almost there. It doesn't matter how many times I tell this story, I always get emotional because it's such a precious memory to me. Because what they did mattered so much to me. I didn't even want to run the race in the first place. It's so funny. And yet, finishing it was so great. And it was great because they were there with me. And they ran up this hill with me. And then my mom and sisters broke off at the top of the hill to wait at the finish line. And my dad finished running the race with me. And my dad is a marathon runner. He's run full marathons. He had already finished the race 3 times previous to me because he finished the race with each one of my sisters. And so he ran with me all the way to the end. Man, it was so hard. But when I crossed that finish line and everyone was there waiting and we were all there just so excited that we had done this, It was a visceral experience of love and belonging and connection. And I would not have gotten there if they weren't helping me at the end. I also wouldn't have even gotten to the race if I hadn't learned how to celebrate for myself first. That was the first step to finishing that race, was learning for myself how to celebrate me. And then as I did that, and as I allowed them to be included in those celebrations, I would text them every time, finish this run, training's going awful, but I'm doing it. Because that was an open invitation to them, we were all able to finish it together. It's one of my favorite memories that I have with my family. So how do you celebrate yourself and your creations? Some of my favorite ways are journaling. Writing down what I'm proud of myself for doing, even in the small steps. Sticky notes. I have a wall of sticky notes to commemorate things that I am excited about, that I'm celebrating. We put big things on the sticky notes like promotions and big projects and being accepted to speak at conventions. And the small things too. I have a sticky note on there. I'm looking at it right now. Sticky note on there that says, I got my first patron for Patreon. And I have another sticky note for when I got 10 patrons on Patreon. Both super exciting things for me still. I have a sticky note on there that says, today I choose to step into the arena of vulnerability. And celebrating mindset changes. Finding a wall or a poster or a way to show that excitement and display it. One of my favorite ways is having a dance party. Sometimes I'll just do it in my chair while I'm working, take a break from a project, boop-a-doop-a-doo, this is awesome, and just move your body to a song that you love. It's even more fun if you're able to invite people to do it with you. You can do that through FaceTime. I love inviting my kids to dance with me, and we have dance parties in our house. Not frequently enough. It's something that we need to do more of, but it is fun when we do it. Call someone and let them cheer for you. Say, hey, I'm so excited about this and I would love for you to be excited with me. Hugging it out. We have frequent hug breaks in this house. Sometimes it's to help relieve stress. Sometimes it's to help feel more connected. And sometimes it's to celebrate something that we're excited that happened. Hug breaks are phenomenal. Highly recommend them. Giving yourself a special treat or dressing up for fun. You can also have a bubble bath or a pamper session, and that is not just for the ladies. Men, you are worth pampering too. Add it to a got done list. Instead of just keeping a to-do list, having a got done list so that you can celebrate what you've actually achieved in the day instead of worrying about what you haven't done yet. And then the king of celebrations, taking a nap, giving yourself a break, taking a rest. Very important things to do. So there are endless options. If you have ways that you enjoy celebrating, I would love to hear it. Please share them with me. I always love adding options to how I celebrate things. But what's important is that it doesn't feel fake. And you can feel real love and pride and joy in what you've done. And you can celebrate as often as you need. There's no limit. There are some days that I need to celebrate more frequently in order to get through. And other days that I don't need celebrations as much. It's still just a fun thing. Like when I was running, there were some runs that I really had to celebrate every step that I was still running, where other days the mile celebration was enough. Do what works for you. Be aware of how you're feeling and what you need so that you can give yourself what you need. I believe that you are worth celebrating. You, as a person, regardless of what you create, are worth celebrating. I believe that everything you create is worth celebrating. It doesn't matter if it's finished or not. You could have a file of 1,000 unfinished projects, and every single one of those is worth a celebration because they have contributed to who you are as a creator and as a person, and that needs to be acknowledged. It's important. I believe that the more we celebrate and the more we invite others to celebrate, the more we will find reasons to celebrate with more people. Think about a time that you have been able to celebrate for someone else, that you've just been so truly, genuinely excited for them. And know that there are people who want to do that for you. There are. We need to open that invitation and let them. And it starts with celebrating you first. You are your number one fan. You can do it. I know you can. I hope you make celebrating every step more of a priority for yourself and that you're able to truly enjoy that. I'm excited to talk to you again soon. Until then, stay creative. Thank you so much to my patrons for their support, which enables me the freedom to make the content I want. And a special thanks to you for listening. Please like and subscribe so you don't miss any releases, and if you want to support me and my channel, you can become a patron at patreon.com/koicompositions.